Routines, routines, routines. We're going to talk about those routines. It could be workout routines, diet routines, whatever the case may be. It's going to be important for you to pick this up today. This really does shed some light on the three personality types episode. The episode I did on the three personality types that have difficulty with routines, the three emotionals. That's what they are. They're three emotions. And this episode is titled Why You Don't Stick to Routine, What You Fix It to fix your routine actually work for you. I'm Mario Leone. Welcome to the Voices of Victory channel, and don't forget to click on the Podbean link below to go to the Patreon, and we will grow together. The very first idea I want to bring out today on this episode is routines are bad for a lot of people. It's not that they're bad, though. Like a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm just bad with routines. No, the routine doesn't fit you yet. That's what this is all about. It feels uncomfortable to people. It'll feel forced to some people, and it'll feel pointless to some. So we have to change how we actually do it. That's what really crucial. So there are three types of people. We've talked about this in the three personality types for routines, and I'm going to shed some light right here. So you have the very first one, people who need it to feel good. This is probably the most difficult ones with routine. They need it to feel good. The second one is people who need some sort of creative control. And the third one is people who actually need it emotionally meaningful. Emotionally meaningful is the key word, emotional. So let's go ahead and move through this. The very first one, the one that need it to actually feel good, it doesn't feel good for them to actually do it. They hate how the routines feel. They feel that it's cold, it's too disciplined, that discipline is cold, and we need to have something that's going to move them forward. They have to make it easier to start. That is the very first idea. They have to take this routine and say, what can I do to make adding creative control back into your routines is awesome because it allows you to adhere to the actual routine and still have your own little signature on the whole. To make it feel better for this particular type, in order for us to make it better for them, they should add the things that they. So in terms of comfort, they should make and designate the environment. So for example, if they're working out, make it comfortable. If it's a diet, try to rearrange the counter and say this is the area that's like dedicated towards smoothies. Really set yourself apart from other people. Also music, drinks, having a healthy smoothie after a workout will actually make it worth it. You can think of that as like an incentive. Now keep in mind, it's not an incentive to have 20 healthy. You have to know your limits. People have your limits, but it is important for you to have a protein smoothie afterwards, or maybe a recovery shake or something like that. Something that's going to make it worthwhile. So incentives are important. The next idea is start really small. Sit down, do what you need to do, and just do it for 2 minutes. Do your routine and start small. So when you're starting your exercise or any other type of routine, start very small. Don't feel the need, dive right in, full steam ahead. You don't have to. Add a little bit of process to it and start small. So it's like doing 2 push-ups or 3 or 4, or maybe doing push-ups for 2 minutes along those lines. Now we add a little bit of connection with that as well. So after they're done, they're going to want to feel some sense of it. So you can tell a friend that you absolutely and be around people that you like to work out with. That's what is important, is that these people could indeed be very social in terms of exercise, maybe even in terms of diet for that. When we look at couples, if there's 2 people and one goes on a diet and is doing insanely well, and the other one wants their partner to backslide to the old bad habits, and this happens. This happens because it has all to do with identity. That one person wants to work out, they're physically fit, and it starts to add a massive challenge to the relationship because at some point, that healthy routine will become part of your identity and it will become a non-negotiable. And your partner is now going to. That's relationship. We'll deal with that at a later. But the point is they do say couples that work out together stay together. I really do. But adding a little bit of connection is having a workout partner or an accountability partner, someone who's going to work out with you. maybe even be a little social. Some people will walk on the treadmill for an hour and just chill there, and the time will just pass. And you'll get an hour done. Meanwhile, they're probably the last person that would go on the treadmill for an hour, but because there's a person next to them talking and chatting, they're just continuously going, and it's not a super fast pace, but it's a pace enough to where an hour goes by and it's social. So there are people that do need to go to the gym that are very social, and there are people that do need to work out in isolation. Literally. They need to be just working out at home, swinging the kettlebell, like go hardcore all the way, but you're on your own. So I want to make that very clear. So for this type, we add the things you like, engineer your environment, set up some smoothies, drinks, things that are going to support your routine. It doesn't have to be just a workout routine. It could be eating routine, things that will support your routine overall. Adding music, entertainment, anything into it. Even people that go on a treadmill and watch TV for a half hour, they're able to do that. So that being said, start really small, do the 2 minute, 1 minute startup, do that for a couple days and some momentum, and then start, up the ante at some point, and then add that connection socially. So that's for this. Now, what actually changes with it in this personality type is it stops feeling like a chore. That's what is momentum. They get momentum at emotional output. So it becomes something you don't mind doing it. That is what. So here, let's go further. The second one is they need control. They need control. It feels like it's someone else's plan, right? So they don't like that. They don't like the fact that someone else made it, someone else put it together. It's a good plan, but it feels bad when it doesn't have your own signature on it, when you didn't tailor it or adjust it. You. And, we look at a lot of social media. We look at YouTube out there, and you'll see people doing these advanced workouts. And they're doing these really advanced, like I'll see somebody doing like Surya Namaskar, sun salutation and yoga, and they're doing it, and it's like, okay, you're advanced. I feel like saying, if I had to speak to them, you're advanced. You could do it. But, you as an instructor did not demonstrate the novice to do it when their muscles are actually tight. And this happens a lot. It's like, copy me, do like me, but there's no explanation on making an adjustment to your own muscles, your own body, based on the fact that maybe your legs are really. So I've seen some good fitness instructors out there that are amazing in the sense that they'll do the exercise, they'll say, do it this way, this is for the complete novice, and if you're feeling like you could do more, then do it this way. And if you feel like you could do more than that, then do it. If you feel like you want to go advanced, then you could do it. And it becomes a logical progression when it comes to workout. So this type that needs control, if they have a plan and the plan feels really rigid, they have to make it their own system. They have to take it and make it. That is crucial. So the one that needs control, make it your own. Make your own recipe. Stick to the plan, but make it your own. You can make a little adjustments here and there, a little tweak. So the very first thing is you could actually take control. Yes, you can indeed take control. There's nothing wrong with taking control, especially if it's utilizing a routine. Set it up your way. Do yourself a favor. Set it up your way. Pick your tasks, pick your routine, choose the order in which you want to do things, and make your own. Now, keep in mind you're going to get an original plan from somewhere, and you don't want to deviate too far because then it becomes pointless. But you pick your task wisely and choose the order that you're going to do them in, and you make your rules as best to your ability. Now, another thing you could do is in terms of your schedule, you could use a very loose schedule. You could have morning time instead of exact hours. Like some people will say, oh, you got to work out at 5 a.m., at this time. But in this case, it's like, no, we're not going to do that. Morning is an entire time frame. It's not just 1 hour. And it goes all the way up to noon, right? And starts off early, 5 a.m. and so on. So we could use a block of time pretty relaxed. So morning, you have to do it in that time span, okay? So instead of having exact hours, and you're going to say, I'm going to finish 3 things, 3 routines, instead of having a full during that time. This is going to shift your mindset. This is going to move your mindset because it's like, I am choosing to do. I'm no longer forced. I'm no longer falling into the. Now, what changes with this personality type is there's no longer pushing against the routine. it feels like a choice. Once it feels like a choice, they're like, I want more of this. They feel good and they keep. Now, the third one is the one that needs meaning. Like, they need meaning. If they don't understand why, then it becomes a problem. So the problem for them is that it feels boring, it feels pointless, it feels like it doesn't have a purpose, or they don't have an understanding behind why they're doing it. So you don't mind working and doing routines when feel meaningful. So it connects to something bigger. So I'll give you an example. One of my coaching clients primarily was doing breath work with me for a while. And in the back of his mind, he started to backslide on it. And then when I asked him, okay, well, what is the reason why you backslide? And he started to say, well, I backslided because I understand why we're doing it. Once I explained the science behind the breath work, what it does, how it improves impulse control and supports people in the prefrontal brain. Like once I started to explain all that, then what happened was he understood it and he was able to go back to it and he had a bigger reason. So some people, it's the opposite. They know why, but they can't get themselves to actually do it. Some people are like that. But we have to be able to understand, okay, you're working out with this type of workout in this kind of way. What is the reason why you're doing it? So very important. So you are connecting to a bigger purpose behind what you do. Whatever routine you do for this particular personality type, it needs to be understood as the why. The results you're trying to achieve, what your results are. And it goes from there. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize you could take business KPIs and actually get tangible results. So sometimes you have to be able to put something like that together to get tangible. So we have to be able to connect to something bigger. This is helping you grow. We have to keep the goal exactly where it is, but switch how you actually do it. So having a lot of variety and a lot of different approaches and then adding small changes. Okay, we're going to make an adjustment here. We're going to make an adjustment there. We're going to do a little bit more on Friday. We're going to do 5 more push-ups on Saturday, whatever the case would be. You rearrange the order. You could also do your routines in different places, totally different places. So if you're doing it at the same place all the time, it might get boring, and you may want to try different things. So having those small challenges, create small challenges. Okay, so we're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to come out of the comfort zone just a little bit. We're going to come right to the edge, and we're going to challenge ourselves. And then we're going to do a different order. We'll rearrange the order and sequence of the routine. And then, of course, we're going to do a new place, a new environment. So at the end of the day, for this episode, your routines work when they actually fit you. There's a lot of people that have these rigid plans, and they may be rigid people, not really emotionally flexible, and they're so rigid that they have rigid demands and rigid expectations on other people. And it's really militant in nature, and we forget that we're human beings. We forget that emotional resistance is a big factor into the whole idea. We do have to make things good. Like if you do a power workout and then you actually get into that power pose. If you've ever seen the superhero pose where you just take your fists and put it on your hips and you sit there and you feel good for a minute. You make it feel good. You embed into your brain that it's feeling good. You can have even some auto suggestions in the brain that say, I feel good when I work out, right? So it's getting connected to that feeling, nature. You make it yours. You make it your own. You make it your own recipe, and you make it meaningful. When you do this, these are the things that will actually make your routine easier to connect to. Because when it comes down to emotions are the resistance that we actually have. And we want to tell ourselves, like, I feel good exercising. I feel good doing that. We want to be able to utilize that. And that's all I'm going to say on this episode. I hope you enjoyed today. Have a great day and see you on the next episode. Don't forget to click the link below to visit the Patreon to support there.